Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So I think 2 weeks ago, I ended up doing kind of two different Twitter challenges. One was the color wheel challenge and the other one was the right hand, right foot, left foot challenge. And I've been kind of in a bit of a art slump. I haven't been really liking any of the drawings that I've been making recently, so I thought it'd be fun to do another kind of drawing challenge, which is the Draw Niji EN from memory, which was made by Petra, who is actually one of the Niji EN livers, and she made this really cute kind of clean template for people to use if they wanted to join in on drawing the Niji EN members from memory. So it has all the recent members plus Yugamin and Tazumi. So I'm gonna go through and do pretty much all the sketches for each of the livers up until the very end. So I'll make sure to put the little picture of their portrait or whatever, so like in the corner, so you guys know who I'm drawing if you're unfamiliar. And just to let you guys know, if you think I sound tired right now, it's probably because I woke up too early to record the voice recording for this, because like I said, I've been kind of in an art slump. So this video is actually done kind of last minute to replace a different video, because halfway recording the other video, I just really didn't like it. So I'm gonna see if I'm gonna continue with that video and finish it till the very end, or if I'm gonna scrap it and start a new one. We'll see. But kind of back to the challenge a little bit. The sketching portion for all of them, I think for the most part, I think I remember quite a bit of details for each of the livers for kind of like the majority. So to kind of give a little bit of context for you guys if you're not familiar, the characters that I'm drawing are VTubers, and they are part of Niji Sanji, which is kind of like their company, and they're part of the Niji Sanji EN because they're the English speaking branch of Niji Sanji. So all of them are VTubers. They all stream here on YouTube. So if you guys are interested, you can look up their names. Pretty sure if you look up any of the names that you see on the screen, you most likely will be able to find their channels. If not, you can search up their name with Niji Sanji. You probably find it super easily. I'm not going to link them all in the description because that's way too many links to go in there. So yeah. So Alira's actually was kind of easy. I did have to go back and switch up her little, I guess, wings on her head to flick upwards instead of downwards because they resemble too much like Solen's, and I draw Solen a lot more than I draw Alira, so I kind of got it mixed up a little bit. But in the end, I think once I start to work on Pomu, I'm going to switch it up and go back to Alira and fix her up. So then after that was Finana. Finana was a little bit getting hit by my art slump a little bit more. She looks a little bit derpy. I think the proportions are a little bit off, but I think I remembered at least the majority of her face and her hair and the accessories. I just didn't remember too much about, I think her hands are kind of accurate, and I think the clothing on her shoulders and stuff are mostly accurate. So for all these sketches, I'm basically going to be doing headshots for the most part. Some of them I vary up just a tiny bit, but for the most part, because these are kind of like smaller sections and squares, I just wanted to do their headshots just because it doesn't make sense for me to do anything more than that. From what I've seen other people have done for this particular challenge is that they did kind of more like doodle styled. So after I end up doing the coloring, or not the coloring, the sketch portion, I'm actually going to color, but we're going to be using the watercolor brush so that I can just lightly lay down color super quickly, because I ended up taking 7 hours. So even if I was in an art slump, I spent 7 hours doing this, drawing I think 30 people. And is it 30? Maybe it's more than 30. I think it is 30. If not, it's 36. It's like something around there. And then, yeah, it's just a lot quicker. But I definitely think this kind of helped with my art slump a little bit, just because we're rapid fire drawing a bunch of people. And for the most part, I was comfortable drawing everybody. I think Pomu turned out pretty okay. Petra, I think, also turned out pretty okay. I think it's also because I covered a little bit more of her body that I didn't really have to think about it too much. I think Rosemi, I did struggle a lot more just because I, for some reason, blanked out on her top part. So at some point I actually gave her like a collar, like with two little I don't know what it's called, like a button-up collar, rather than this kind of full seam, kind of fluffier, little ruffled collared part for how Rosemi actually has on her blouse, or whatever you want to call it. And then I accidentally, well, I can't talk today, it's probably too early for me, accidentally forgot her little tiny side ponytail, so I'll add that in later. And I don't remember when exactly I added it in. I think it might have been during the coloring phase, because I realized it was too red at the top, so it meant that I kind of missed a pink section. After that is Selene. So I actually draw Selene quite a bit. But for the coloring portion, I think I might have got her eyes correct with the colors, because I kind of forgot which side the blue and the kind of pinkish purple colored eye is on, because she does have heterochromia. So I just kind of took a guess. But for the most part, I had a lot of fun drawing Selene, because like I said, I draw her quite a bit. I didn't draw her wings, ear things on her head as low and as large as they probably appear on her actual model, and I think that's because I just forgot that's how they are, and I kind of drew them up kind of more closer to the top of her head. So next up we have Enna. So Enna, I actually struggled quite a bit, and I don't know, I think in the end I kind of got to a place that it kind of looks like her, but I've always struggled to draw Enna regardless. So I think it's kind of like a mixture of me not being able to draw Enna, and then me also remembering details incorrectly, especially for her outfit. I remember she had a hood, and that there's kind of like a fluffy bit in between the neck and the hood, but then after that, all I remember is that she wears like a sleeveless kind of top, or not sleeveless, like shoulderless top part. And then I didn't draw the wings on her head too large, and then I struggled with the hair. I also didn't remember how her kind of like wavy pigtails were held in, so I drew ribbons instead of the little flower detailing that she has similar onto the band of her head. After that, we have Millie Parfait. So Millie, I've actually drawn quite a bit as well. I love her color combination, and just her outfit and energy is just so fun. So I have drawn her a little bit here and there, but I feel like I didn't capture her too well. I think maybe it's because like the mama, or like their artist that draws their model, draws her so cute, and I love their style a lot. It's super cute, super tiny, and like, I don't know, it's just so adorable, and I wish I could have drawn something as cute. But yeah, this is kind of what I ended up for Millie. I could tell right away that the bow is incorrect. The bell is supposed to be placed lower. I also forgot the detailing on her hat, because she has kind of a different assortment of bows and stuff on top of there, and I didn't really draw that too well. Next up we have Nina Kosaka. So Nina, I did struggle to draw as well. So I think for the Etheria girls, even though I actually spend quite a bit of time watching them, they're one of my favorites to put in the background when I'm drawing and stuff. And I made sure not to place anybody into the background when I was listening to stuff, because I didn't even spend time on YouTube, just because I get recommended a lot of like VTuber clips and stuff, or their live streams, so I didn't want to have any reference for them. And I made sure to try my best to, I don't think I exit outed my gallery, because my gallery accidentally placed this into my VTuber folder, which because I have so many artwork of Niji EN livers, I would have some kind of drawings already done in that folder. So I tried my best not to exit out unless I really needed to, if I feel like I needed to somewhat like save the canvas in some way. So Nina's was a little bit rough, just because I kind of forgot her outfit layout until the end, but I ended up covering it a lot because of her hair, and I didn't remember what else was on her kind of hat. So hopefully I kind of drew that somewhat correctly. And next up we have Reimu, who is what I'm kind of currently working on right now. And I've drawn Reimu actually quite a few times, and I'm kind of mostly familiar with her design, and I've been working on a shimiji for her as well, so I've been kind of taking a closer look at that particular design rather than her newer one, because I kind of drawn both quite a few times, either in my sketchbook or both digitally, so I'm kind of familiar with her design for the most part. After that, we're moving on to Luxiem, so we're moving on to Ike, and I have drawn Ike a heck of a lot of times. Maybe I should have asked you guys at the beginning who you think my Oshi is based on how I'm drawing them, but I don't think it's gonna come out correctly. So yeah, Ike, I did struggle. I think I struggled to draw him in general because I think he looks really I don't know, he's one of my favorites. So I think I can't capture how he looks like very well. There's some people with some models that I think are too pretty, which makes me feel intimidated to draw, or I have a hard time translating that, especially without reference. So, you know, it's kind of hard for me a little bit. For like, I think it's similar to like Anna's. I can't really draw too well. I think Sunny is another one. I'm trying to think who else I couldn't really draw due to their model being too pretty. There's like quite a few of them, so you know, kind of here and there. And then we're moving on to Mista. So for Mista, kept it quite simple. His design I think is kind of easier to remember, but I actually like accidentally switched up the colors for his hat. I don't remember if I switched it back at some point. Hopefully I did, and hopefully I got it correct, because I kind of missed the reference just that popped up just now, so I don't remember if it's correct, but hopefully it is. Next up after Mista is Luca. So for Luca, I decided to not put in his hat. So for some of the members, they have like extra accessories and stuff for their actual full model, but sometimes some of them don't use them all the time. So I didn't draw Luca with his hat. I drew Anna in her full attire kind of outfit in mind, but I didn't draw her with her hood up. But usually when I see her stream, if she's not using her new model, it tends to be more of the simple version of her outfit. So I think there's a bit of preference here and there. I think I do something similar to Albin's, where I don't end up drawing his glasses, I think, just because I think they get in the way of his face a little bit, even though I do like his glasses. But I decided to draw in Mista's glasses just because they are a little bit more transparent rather than opaque. But after Luca, we are moving on to Shu. So for Shu, I don't know. There's like some things I remembered and some things I didn't remember. I have drawn Shu a little bit more recently, and I feel like his design is super memorable for me, for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because I like drawing his hair quite a bit, and I've drawn his outfit in a lot of detail several times, and one of my friends, Oshi, is Shu, so I've drawn him recently for her birthday, even if it's not in the similar outfit. After that is Vox. So for Vox, I think I would have forgotten how to draw his hair, to be honest, but because I did that color wheel challenge about 2 weeks ago, I had some semblance of like remembering at least part of his hair. I don't think I made it as like wispy and kind of like fun and flowy as his actual model is. I actually like forgot. I keep saying actually with like a lisp that sounds like actually, like the, I don't know, the nerd emoji. But yeah, I didn't draw his hair as like wispy and stuff, I feel like. So I missed kind of like what feels like an ahoge for the top of his head and stuff. I feel like I just missed it. So yeah, but I think the sketch for him turned out pretty nice. And for my Oshis, like, I'm gonna confirm it right here. So my Oshis are Pomu, Ike, and Albin for sure. I have a lot of other ones that I watch quite a bit here and there, but I don't know if I consider them my Oshi per se, because I do watch like a good portion of Niji EN when I can. So I think under that umbrella would probably also be like Alira, Luca, Shu, and Reimu, or even like a lot of Etheria could be like kind of fall under that umbrella for the most part. But for Albin, one thing I really did notice, and I think I noticed ever since I started to draw Albin, so like around his debut and stuff, is that Albin and Ike have very similar hair, but kind of flipped in a way. So they both have like little ahoge kind of ticks at the top of their heads. Their bangs cross in the center, but they cross in the opposite way. Now, I'm looking at my sketch versus the drawing of him, or not the drawing, his actual model. So I actually have their bangs flipped. So I think I drew Albin with Ike's bangs and Ike's bangs with Albin's bangs. So yeah, I got them mixed up, but they do look kind of similar. And even in their new outfits, they both have like kind of cutely parted hair on one side, but it's not like super dramatic. It's just kind of like pushed to the side kind of thing. And it's, I don't know, it looks kind of similar, but I do like both of their designs quite a bit, and it's kind of easier for me to remember how to draw them for the most part. After that is Fulgur. Now, Fulgur, his hair was hard for me to draw because his head's kind of very round, but I also forgot like the length of his hair, so he does have a little bit longer on one side than the other, but then it's also like not quite shoulder length, but it kind of is shoulder length, and then he has the hair kind of draped over his eye. So it's, for me, how I drew it, it's kind of lopsided, so I apologize to any confidants who are watching this because I probably drew their Oshi very terribly. Okay, so moving on, we have Sunny. So Sunny is like I mentioned, kind of one of the models that I find really pretty looking. I don't know, if you look at his face, I don't know, he's like lashes and like his eyes, like eye color, his eye shape, I don't know, everything I find about him, he's just hard to draw for me. So yeah, that's for Sunny. I also forgot to put Uki's model on screen, but here's Uki as well. So for Uki, I think because I've drawn him a few times here and there, it was a little bit easier for me to remember at least most of his design for the most part. So for Sunny, I think I got the colors a little bit mixed up a little bit later, just depending on his clothing, because I think I drew him majority with gray and black rather than the highlighter yellow. But for the most part, I had a lot of fun drawing Uki. I love drawing his hair. It's kind of like wavy and wispy, but also like kind of chunky as well. So I had a lot of fun drawing him for the most part. Next up, we have Aya. So this is kind of the turning point of where I'm probably gonna struggle the most, even though technically ILUNA and XSOLEIL are kind of more of the recent ones that I've drawn. So if you guys aren't familiar, probably the reason why I have a okay memory of drawing a lot of their designs. Now, Aya's outfit I did blank out on. I had a hard time figuring out like what was what, because for her collar, I wasn't sure if she had a white collar that's like more rounded with some kind of jewel, and I technically was correct, but the jewel is on her collar, not beneath it. I knew she had something draped over her shoulders, but I didn't do the similar like Sailor Scout uniform that drapes over. I kind of did more like a shawl kind of thing. Aster's, I think I did kind of okay. I did miss some of his accessories near his neck area, but for the most part, I think I got his like kind of design correct for the most part, but it's kind of more like condensed and more round, if anything. But like I was mentioning, is that the reason why I kind of have like a recollection of their designs in general until we get to Niji Crisis is that I've done basically at least a minimum of 2 drawings of each of the members at some point. So one is because I've done Derp Chibi's kind of little sticker. I think they're like 4 stickers in a little set, and I've done kind of like Derp versions of them in like these little chibi forms, and I think that gives me a good semblance at least of their color scheme. And then after that, I also did kind of like split them back into their units or their gen mates, and then I've done pencil drawings of them together as like ASMR videos or whatever you want to call them. So I've had at least a bit more of a look into their designs at that point, but that dealt not with color, which is I think gotten to the point where I struggled with in terms of especially ILUNA and XSOLEIL, because I've only mostly done the kind of black and white portraiture of them, if anything, so it's hard for me to kind of figure out where to place certain colors. And yeah, so Aster was done, and then in between Aster and the drawing now we had Kyo. So Kyo, I decided to draw with his hood up just because I kind of remember what his hair looked like because I drawn him recently for the color wheel challenge, but I wanted to have more of that yellow fill up the space of the square, so I decided to put his hood up, which is probably a mistake because I accidentally forgot to put in, I think, the light blue tealish color inside his hood, and I made the hood completely just yellow inside, so kind of mistake on my part. After that, we had Maria. So for Maria, I think she turned out pretty cute and kind of ish accurate. I kind of missed like a few ribbons and stuff, and her ahoge is a lot more higher and a lot larger than how I drew it, because I drew it very like droopy and kind of like cutting into her hair a lot more. And color wise, I'm gonna forget to add in, I think, a highlighter too that has like a streak of like a more magenta color, and then she has like a purple one as well. And I think I remember the purple one, but I don't think I remember the other ones. But you can definitely tell which members or livers I'm more comfortable drawing with, or at least I think I'm more comfortable drawing with, because I didn't think I was gonna draw Maria very accurately. I don't remember if she has like the little side pieces of her hair, but I ended up drawing like them a lot longer and a little bit thicker, so I don't really remember if that's entirely accurate. After that, we had Ren. Ren I did struggle with, similar to Sunny. I don't know, his bangs for me is just hard for me to remember his like orientation of his bangs and stuff. I got his horns. I also didn't remember his color scheme for his jacket. I forgot ILUNA wears white, and then they have like the black. He has the black underneath, I believe. I drew it entirely black, I think, so that's a mistake on my part. And then after that we have Scarla. So for Scarla, I don't draw her too often. I do stumble upon her streams every so often, especially like for hand cams and stuff, because I feel like she does more I don't know, creative streams with hand cam streams and stuff, and it's kind of cool. So yeah, and I feel like the orientation of her hair and stuff is quite simple, and I do struggle to draw people with just like middle party hair for the most part, so I do apologize if she does look a little bit off as well. And I didn't remember too much about her outfit, other than she has probably collar that is kind of open, and I think I forgot about any kind of like jewelry or necklace kind of situation for her neck area, and I didn't remember the shape of her glasses, or not glasses, her earrings either. After that, we're moving on to XSOLEIL, and we're starting off with Doppio. So for Doppio, I have technically drawn him recently, just because the color wheel challenge, I drew him for that kind of like magenta-ish pinkish color that's between pink and purple. And I don't know, for me, I don't think I retained too much about his design, but XSOLEIL is really testing my patience, because this is where I'm gonna struggle the most probably with design wise. Hex, I don't watch too much, so I don't really remember his design all that well. But I do remember that when I was drawing him with graphite for like kind of with the rest of XSOLEIL, I did like how I drew him like the most face wise compared to the rest of them. But here I think he looks the most off character compared to the rest of them, just because I have no idea how to draw his hair. I knew it was kind of like pushed back and it's on the longer-ish side, but it's not like super long. But also it's like draping across his face, not across his face, like down his face, but it's also pushed back, so it's like kind of confusing for me. After that we have Kotoka. So for Kotoka, I do like watching her streams as well, if I can catch them, just because time zones and stuff. And her design's really cute, but I didn't have too much recollection of her design, and I almost swapped her hair color at some point, because for some reason I was convinced that her bun on her head was pink, which means that the pink was on that side. But luckily I think I stuck with it, and I kept the yellow on the right and then the pink on the left. But I forgot like a bunch of her accessories. I also forgot her headphones. So yeah, missed a lot of things for her. After that we have Meloko. So for Meloko, I was trying my best to remember at least some details about her face. I know she looks very funny right now, but hopefully once I add in the rest of her hair and kind of squish in her face a little bit, it'll look a little bit less derpy. She has like, how would you describe her face? She has like upturned eyebrows and this kind of more like cat-ish mouth, which I think is super cute. I did forget her longer kind of like ahoge, and how her hair is kind of parted at the top. She has like the little, I guess like people call it air vents at the top, so that they kind of drape downwards. And then she has like 2 long braids and like really long kind of like black and purple hair, which I don't think I remembered too well. But also I think the entirety of XSOLEIL, if they have piercings, I forgot. I don't remember if I even added Ver's piercings. So Ver is who we're working on right now, and I think Meloko has piercing, Doppio has piercings, Hex might also have piercings, which I didn't remember too much. And I think even in ILUNA I might have forgotten Ren's piercings maybe at some point, I'm not too sure. Anyone who has like studs or like the smaller earrings, I probably forgot. Okay, for the last little bits, I kind of derpified and simplified everybody because there's a lot I don't remember. So this is for Vanta Crowbringer, and he's part of Niji Crisis, I guess you can call them. And because I haven't done any drawings of them, I don't remember too much about their designs. So I tried to remember what I've seen fan art of for both Vantacrow and for Visalis. I think Visalius. But for Wilson, I actually did a little bit of doodling in my sketchbook because I also had a yellow marker with me. So I was able to take a closer look at him at that point, which I think was 2 days ago before drawing this version. So I had a little bit of, I guess, like insight to what I could remember of his design. I did forget to kind of fluff out his hair a little bit on each side. I kind of kept it very, I don't know, a little bit more messy and a little bit more contained compared to his version. But I did remember at least like the bangs, the goggles a little bit, and then some sort of collar situation with headphone-ish things. And then he kind of has like another circle of yellow around him. So I think I drew it in the wrong order, but at least it's somewhat recognizable. Yugamin, I don't remember what it looks like. I believe it's like Niji-sanji's mascot technically. And then after that we have Tazumi, which I believe is their CEO. So they're boss basically, and I kind of drew the dirt version. I don't remember. I think they have like a Niji puppet of him or something, which I was trying to remember what it looks like. I don't even know if this is his face or his bang orientation or anything like that. So that's kind of where we are with the sketches. So yeah, you guys can see that there's some of the members or the livers that I spent a lot more time on, and then the other ones I didn't spend as much time on just because my memory just doesn't remember, or I think I'm confident enough and I left it as is. So after that, I duplicated the sketch, I hid the second sketch, and then for the sketch that you're currently seeing, I have set it to be a little bit more on the warmer side, and I'm gonna make it even more warmer by making it a little bit more brown, adding more red tones to it. But I've set the sketch to multiply as well, and then I went ahead and used the wet brush, which I'll leave in the description if you're interested, and it kind of has this watercolory effect, and I decided to use that to kind of fill in the colors just because I rather have a light wash for the sketches, and I didn't want to spend a huge amount of time doing the colors. I think the colors in general, I don't even know, maybe 2 hours in total, which kind of sucks, which means I spent maybe 5 hours sketching because I believe the total time for the entire drawing process was like 7 hours and 30 or something like that. I did do it all in one day just because I would like to be able to go back and watch a few VODs and stuff, or, you know, continue to work on things, and I do like putting their streams in the background for the most part. But other than that, there's like a few members that I just want to draw in general, so I would like to get back to that, so I don't want to stall too much. But yeah, I think I had a lot of fun doing the kind of wet watercolor washes on all of them. It's just like a more simple way for me to keep the shading kind of simple, also allowing myself to leave a lot of the white areas still like peep through. So if I did my best to kind of leave white for the highlights of the hair, also leaving like certain edges with white so that they read a little bit more, I don't know how to explain it, little less flat, I guess, by having kind of some kind of rim lighting around it. But I definitely think the color kind of helps bring the characters kind of to life and show a little bit more of color accuracy and how much I do remember about each of their designs, which I think I did an okay job for the most part. But I start to fumble, like I said, mostly when we get to ILUNA and XSOLEIL, and obviously for Niji Crisis and Yugamin and Tazumi. But for the most part, yeah, these ones didn't turn out too bad, I guess. I have no idea. Fulgur, I'm so sorry. So if you're a confidant, I apologize. Or a brisk cadet, I apologize. I don't think Sunny looks like himself either. But then after that, Uki. So I'm trying to get the kind of gradation for his hair. I didn't remember his heterochromia orientation, if that makes sense. So I'm not sure if it's the left or the right eye that's a little bit darker and more of that deeper, kind of more cooler purple rather than the warmer purple. So I just took a guess. I also took a guess for Aster's, where his eyes are also have heterochromia. So I took a stab and made the left eye, or like the eye on the left side of the screen, I made it, I believe, purple, and then the other one would be yellow technically. So I'm kind of just doing a lot of guesswork. Ren's eyes, I think I assumed they were green. I don't know if they are. I think they're closer to blue actually, so I got that wrong. And like I mentioned, I made his jacket black, which I don't believe is correct because I think it's supposed to be white. I think Kyo's was okay for the most part. I did miss the blue in the center. Doppio's hair color doesn't seem too close at all, and I think I missed some of the black hair streaks and stuff. Kotoka kept quite light. I also assumed that her eye color was pink. Hex, I forgot probably a lot of stuff on his hair as well. I just kept everything pretty simple for his. Meliko, tried my best, added the black and the purple. And then after that we had Ver, which I did a little bit more of a gradient of red because he has a lot of like vermilion tones in his hair as well. And for the rest of them, yeah, just quickly colored them in, and this is kind of where we're at. I'll do a quick run through of the actual time lapse at the very end and some close-ups of the actual different drawings we had for each of them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll show you guys quickly the amount of time I spent on here. I believe it's 7 hours. Yeah, 7 hours and 33 minutes. But I think that's it for today. Hopefully this helps me get out of my art slump a little bit, and I'll talk to you guys next time in the next video. Bye!